This is Level 2, Lesson 1. I'm going to talk about the A section in Honeysuckle, Rose and Scrapple from the Apple, and some ideas for improvising and some different changes, some different chords. I'm not going to touch the first 4 bars of the sequence because they remain chords 2 and chord 5. I'm going to be looking at the 5th bar. And the chords that we've been playing previously are chord 1, chord 6, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. So a little optional change could be in the second chord of bar 5, is instead of going to 1, 6, 2, 5, which is a really common turnaround sequence, going 1, flat 3, diminished, 2, 5. If I was to improvise over that, I would probably just outline the notes of the diminished chord rather than think of a scale because it is so quick. So for example, I might go, which would be probably the easiest way to approach that. I have some other alternative changes for the end of Honeysuckle Rose, and that's the end of the A section when it returns back to the second A section. And this is bars 5, 6, 7, 8. So bars 5 and 6 are not much different, but it's the final bar, bar 8, where instead of just going to D7, I provide a little bit of movement there. So it goes like this. And that's chord 6, chord 5 in first inversion, then a chromatic move on F diminished, and then we get chord 6 in first inversion. And that works quite well in a more stride style. So I'll just demonstrate that. If I was to improvise over that, I probably wouldn't do much over the end bit. I probably might just go using chord tones for that. And so that brings me on to the idea of using more chord tones in my improvisation. So when we were exploring some of the ideas for improvising using the pentatonic and also for using the mixolydian and also blues elements, I then talked about using chord tones on chord 2 and chord 5. And as the harmony gets slightly more complex, it's going to be much more useful. So another alternative change for Honeysuckle Rose and for Scrapple at the same point, that's bars 5, 6, 7, 8, is this particular sequence, and I'm going to show you how you can improvise over it. So we've got chord 1 in first inversion, that means that the bass note is now in A. Chord 4, I've added a dominant 7th, so there's an A flat there. Bluesy kind of sequence. We're going to go to the diminished chord on B. We've got chord 1 in second inversion, that means you've got C in the bass instead of F. Back to chord 4, 3, and then I'm going to substitute the chord 6 with that diminished chord I talked about earlier, A flat diminished. You could just go straight to chord 6. No, both of them are equally as good. So if I was to improvise on that, again, I'm starting in F. I can think F pentatonic, probably F mixolydian. But when I get to chord 4, I said I'd put in a dominant 7th, made it a dominant 7th chord, which means that instead of having an A natural, which I would have had it been diatonic in the key of F, I've now flattened it to an A flat. So at that point, I would really need to make sure that my improvised line had an A flat. It might sound a bit odd if I didn't have an A flat. Then I get to a diminished chord. Again, I'll probably outline that. It's B, D, F, A flat. Then back to F, back to the chord 4. Chord 3 is still in the key of F, so we can just play the normal major scale there. And then we've got a diminished chord, so we could just outline the strong notes of that, which is A flat, B, D, F. So we're dealing with F major, and going temporarily to B flat mixolydian. But again, if you remember in the first level of level 1 tuition, I was talking about using the pentatonic scale, but also hinting at you can put in a flat 3, which is a blues note. Well, there it works perfectly. So you could just think about that movement to chord 4 as having that bluesy note, and that'd be quite an easy way to improvise over that. So I'm going to just show you an improvisation using those ideas I just discussed there. So it's just bars 5, 6, 7, 8. I could actually practice them with chord tones, and that might be another way just to get to know it. So I play F, I just play F, A, C, might play the 6th, could play the 7th. Then I'll do the same with the first inversions, that'd be A, C, F, and then B flat 7, B flat, D, F, A flat, B diminished, B, D, F, A flat, F major in second inversion, C, F, A, B flat 7, B flat, D, F, A flat, A minor, A, C, B, G, and then the diminished, A flat, B, D, F. And I'll just do an improvisation based on that, which is not going to sound quite as convincing perhaps as the previous one, because I'm just going to focus on the chord tones, and it's going to probably sound more like an exercise, but it is a good exercise. Okay, here we go. One of the things when you move from B flat 7 to B diminished is that actually most of the notes are really similar. So instead of going B flat, D, F, A flat, all you're literally doing is moving the bottom note up a semitone, and all the other notes stay the same. So that makes it slightly easier. So in this lesson I've just discussed a couple of alternatives to the end, which, you know, if I was to sort of condense the information at the end, I just say it's basically in the home key with F, with a little bit of a turnaround, just filling the space. I mean, you could probably play Honeysuckle Rose and just come to rest on F and it'd probably sound fine, but it would sound a bit boring, definitely. But obviously in level 2 now we're introducing more interesting harmonic ideas. In the next lesson I'm going to explore the middle 8 a little bit deeper. Join me for level 2, lesson 2.